What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Littleroot Laddering. So, as we talked about a little bit on the podcast on Monday, this week I'm playing Smeargle's Lunala Groudon team that he sent in to us, which is actually, when we talked about it, we did like a comparison to the last Lunala Groudon team that I played. I believe Carl's played with the strategy summit since then, but this is the first time that I've played it in quite a while. The last team also had Umbreon, interestingly, and Ensign. But like its damage output was different because they had Venusaur, whereas this one has Charizard. And then I don't remember exactly what the last slot was. I know we talked about it on the podcast, but instead we're playing Gastrodon here. I know that last slot was different. I just can't remember exactly what it was. And of course I can't pull it up because I had to delete a team to be able to even get this one on here. So let's talk about this team just a little bit. We have AV Groudon, which I think is pretty okay. It's pretty common, all things considered. You're able to live a bunch of extra hits because you have all this extra bulk thanks to your AV. I'm interested in seeing the difference between Stone Edge versus Rock Slide. I know Carl said that there's different calcs that are going to be more favorable because of Stone Edge's higher damage output being 100 versus 75 spread. This is 100 single target, so you're able to obviously do way more damage with Stone Edge, but there's also like that inherent chance to miss, which also you have with Rock Slide. So it really is pretty balanced, all things considered. Heat Crash, pretty standard for a fire type stab. And then Shadow Claw, I think, is actually really, really sick on this team, being able to just do a ton of different damage into like opposing Lunalas. You're able to do significant damage into Cali Shadow, and like this also gives you a pretty decent like attack into Cali Ice as well as just being Dynamax and having access to Max Phantasm, which will then lower their defenses. So then your attacks from after Dynamax are going to be more powerful as well. I'm really excited to see how well this Groudon actually works out in Dynamax, because when you look at the rest of the team, your Dynamax targets are kind of few and far between from there. Obviously you have Charizard, which is probably the premier one on the team, and like you have Gastrodon here, which Gastrodon really needs like a Storm Drain boost to be able to get going, especially since we don't have access to Max Geyser here to be able to have that extra stab damage and be able to boost itself from that. But like you're not going to be Dynamaxing Umbreon, and like Lunala could, once you get like your Meteor Beam boost and then like fire off very powerful Max Phantasms as well, which will then inherently make your Groudon do more damage. But like even still, this team has 4 special attackers, and your physical attackers aren't like predominant. You're not going to be doing a ton of damage physically on this team, so bulky, especially defensive Pokemon could be kind of problematic for this, as well as like things holding random Assault Vests. Like there's a bunch of things that can go wrong for this team, but honestly this team looks really, really sick, and we're gonna just try to play I'm not gonna say aggressive, because like when playing with like Lunala and Umbreon and Gastrodon, that's not really a thing that you're going to do a ton of the time. But there's definitely going to be games where we just Dynamax Charizard on turn 1 and make our opponent very sad. So let's get to game number 1. We will see you there. Interesting. So first match of the day here, we have, I'm presuming, Steely Spirit Berserker next to 2 Steel-type restricteds in Zacian plus Dialga. I'm very certain that Shedinja is not going to come in a matchup full of Groudon, Lunala, Charizard, Incineroar, Umbreon. But you never know. And then of course you have opposing Thundurus and Ensign here as well. I don't think Ensign is all that appealing in all actuality. I think that they are pretty likely to bring Thundurus here as a way to like punish us for bringing Ensign, and so I think the correct solution is don't bring Ensign. Obviously like Umbreon also can be problematic here, because firing off like a Baby Doll Eyes or a Snarl at the wrong time can be pretty problematic. But I definitely like Groudon. I definitely like Charizard here. I'm debating if I want Lunala to try to set up Trick Room in front of them, which if Trick Room goes up, I feel pretty safe behind it. So I think Lunala plus Groudon up front is pretty good. with Charizard, and I'm leaning towards Gastrodon here. I think Gastro just being able to hit essentially everything for good damage here is going to be pretty important. It's been a while since I've said it, but Sword and Shield has some boppin' music. It's so good. So this lead is really interesting in all actuality. This might be a like Will-O-Wisp Thundy plus Max Quake the Dialga kind of game. I feel pretty okay with that. Like, getting a special defense boost here in front of Dialga is really good. Shutting down their potential Dynamax here in Thundurus is pretty good. And in all actuality, Dialga might click Trick Room, trying to prevent us from setting up Trick Room. Obviously, I think that's like... it's possible. I don't think it's all that unlikely to happen. But if we can punish him for doing so, and like have them go for like an Airstream or something here instead, we're miles ahead. Alright, Thundurus is going out. Shedinja's going to come in. So as long as we connect, then, you know, we're in a pretty okay position. They're just going to max Dialga. That's pretty okay, all things considered. Man, just connecting this Will-O-Wisp on turn 1 onto Shedinja is going to be so funny. Just nice focus sash, please go away. This also just like removes the potential for like Dynamax Thundy on their side as well, which I think is pretty problematic for us as well. But overall, I'm pretty okay with how this turn is gone. So the question is Lunala faster than Dialga here? We are not. They're just going to fire off the Steel Spike. They are going to get that defense boost. But, like, you know, Groudon takes that pretty well, all things considered. The question is, are you policy? We do connect the Will-O-Wisp, so Shedinja down. And I think with them Dynamaxing here, I'm pretty incentivized to now click Trick Room. Just under half, like 48% or so. Question is, are you weakness policy? You are. That's really unfortunate. Shedinja takes 100% of its damage from its burn, so that's cool. This makes me think that they don't have... this makes me think they don't have the Berserker, and I was really excited to play against Berserker, and now I'm sad. Oh, we don't have Trick Room! Oh, yeah. Man, I really wish we did. Trick Room here would be so sick. But I'm just going to Meteor Beam this Thundy. And we can just go for a Quake into Dialga. Okay, Thundy's going to go for Fly. I don't care. We are obviously going to use our Power Herb, but that's fine. Steel Spike is not going to KO. Okay, I was going to say it should not have done that much, but that explains a lot. We eat our Meteor Beam, but that's fine, because this next turn I can go for Will-O-Wisp into that slot. You know, I think one crit deserves another, so we should just crit the Dialga here. I mean, like, we deserve it, right? Yeah, never lucky. Could go for Moongeist Beam next turn to KO the Dialga. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. And then we will go for a Rock Vault into Thundy, just on the off chance they target the Lunala instead. Yep, Lunala does take a hit. They are Life Orb Thundy. Question is, does this just take out Groudon? It does. That's fine. But we have a +1 Moongeist Beam going into Dialga, so this should KO. So presumably they have Zacian here as their last. Well, we get the crit just a turn later than I would have liked. Man, if they not crit us there, I think we were actually in an okay position too. But we can bring out Zard. Bait them into... Oh, they do have Berserker. It's a really odd choice into Charizard Groudon. Their Air Balloon. I think I want to Will-O-Wisp the Thundy this turn. And protect Charizard. Just on the off chance that they have Fake Out here. I believe Berserker gets Fake Out, right? It's part of the Meowth line. They do. Okay, cool. Read it. I'm so smart. Double up into my Charizard. We're so smart. Alright. Thundy's damage is severely hindered at this point. Charizard is going to take solar power damage, that's fine. Thundy also outspeeds Charizard naturally, so that is something we need to be weary of. And I'm good to Moongeist Beam into the Thundurus. And we'll go into Charizard here. I mean, into Gastro to get the free switch. Just reading another Wild Charge into Charizard. Man, bringing the Electric type into the matchup with double Ground type. Bringing the Steel type into double Ground type, Fire type, in Sun. I feel like this opponent, unfortunately, just did not bring the right Pokemon this match. Ironhead into the Lunala. Oh, come on, man. These crits. Unfortunately, Sun is also going to fade this turn. But that's fine. I don't see a Berserker outdoing my Charizard and my Gastro. Especially as long as we hit with the Zard. We can hit an Earth Power here. Because they are Air Balloon. So, just Blast Burn. And we will go for the Earth Power here. As long as we connect, we should win. Okay, we do connect. That's Burst the Balloon. And we just pick up the KO. That's also fine. Okay. On the scoreboard. You know, I talked about maxing Charizard in this matchup, but end of the day, I think Max Groudon was actually really good for us. Next match here, this is, I believe, just hard Rinya Sun. I believe this is, like, pretty standard. We have the Grimmsnarl Charizard. Yeah, this feels like everything that they want to be doing with Rinya Sun. I think Umbreon lines up really well here. I think this is finally a matchup that Umbreon can excel in. I don't really care for Lunala in the matchup of multiple dark types. Granted, like, only one of them ever really carries a dark type move, but do I just want Charizard? I think I just want Charizard, and then Groudon Lunala. I think Instin's really important here. Do I want Instant over Groudon? That's interesting. Does Lunala even do anything here? Not really. I think I'm fine to leave Lunala at home. Like, obviously we can get like a Will-O-Wisp off into either of their Mons. We can go for like... Yeah, I think this is fine. We're Charty Zard, so like we can live a hit there. if they have AP on their Zard. There's a lot that can go right. There's a lot that can go wrong here from our opponent. It's going to be Zacian Charizard up front. Okay. There's my Umbreon. Could be Play Rough. I think I just want to swap into Groudon here. Do I want to Rock Fall or do I want to Airstream? I could also Wildfire their Zacian. I could also, like, not swap, go for Snarl and Max Guard. I actually don't hate that play. Let's do it. Because then this will give us a lot of information about what they have going on. If they are Charty, then we get to see the reveal. And if they are going just for Airstream, then obviously they don't get it. And there's a potential for another Speed tie next turn, but their Charizard's going to hopefully be out of commission by being at -1. That's the thing about Charizard is, like, any kind of stat drop on it, it's just, like, so... Its damage output just sinks so hard. Question is what are you doing? I should probably also check to see if we're max speed on Zard, so I know if this is actually a speed tie or not. They go for a Behemoth Blade into my Charizard, and they do have Rockfall. Okay. Okay. This is good info. Because now I can Baby Doll Eyes this Zacian. Make them sad. And I can Airstream. I could also Wildfire into Zacian. Do I live the double up? I think I need the Airstream into their Zard so I can outspeed and KO next turn. Is that even true? I could just Snarl again. I think Snarling here is actually correct. And just going for the KO into Zacian. If they're going to go for the double up into my Charizard, I feel really okay. Especially with them at -1. And this is a resisted hit. Holy cow, are you kidding me? Okay, we are actually speed tied. It's like we removed their Zacian and we set Wildfire, which is good. We're gonna reveal our Charty. I'm really hoping at -1 with Charty we can live this. Oh, Charizard, you're insane. You are insane. I think we go down to Sand. It's really close. Ah, you suck, Charizard. Oh! Okay. Okay. That was very, very gross. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything good to hit this Grimmsnarl right now. I think I kind of like just swapping into Instant. Does that do anything? I don't think I want to go into Groudon. I think going into Instant this turn is fine. No, I would rather... I think I would rather go to Groudon and go for an Airstream into their Charizard on the off chance that they ignore my Charizard, anticipating it to get taken out by Sand. But instead, I will lose my Charizard to Solar Power at end of turn. Okay, they do just target down my Charizard to take it out. That's fine. Because this turn then I haven't revealed Baby Doll Eyes on Umbreon yet. And then their Grimmsnarl will also take Wildfire Chip here. So what I can do is I can bring in Ensign here, go for the Fake Out into Grimmsnarl, and go for a Stone Edge into Charizard in the off chance that we just KO it before Reflect gets brought in, like before they set Reflect up. Alright, just hit. I'm trying to think if Precipice Blades is enough to KO a Grimmsnarl from this range, and I don't think it is. I think I need to take out the Charizard. Okay, no Protect from the Charizard. They have AP, of course, we know. They're at -1, though. They do not get the boost. Oh! And now they set Reflect. So now we just need a crit. Just crit. I think I like going for a Flare Blitz. Get Darkest Lariat here. Darkest Lariat into Charizard, just try to take it out. Could also Parting Shot off of it. Is that -1 already? So even if they get the AP boost, they're still at -1. I think I want to try to take the Grimmsnarl out. Man, the fact that we missed is so bad. Because now they get Reflect up for the rest of this game. It's so bad. No crit. That's good. No boost. Even better. Okay, they are charty. Yep. Crit. You're insane. That wasn't even a crit. Charizard, you're so bad. This is Flare Blues behind Reflect in the sun, though. That's enough for them to get taken out this turn. That's insane. Alright, Groudon. You're a real disappointment because you missed it, and now Reflect is up because of you. But, that's that. You did okay. Presumably this is their own Groudon to clean this game up. It is. Okay. So we will Precipice Blades, and we're just going to hard swap into Umbreon here. Start Baby Doll-izing this. Make it very sad. And if Groudon goes down, then we can swap back into Ensign. It's good damage. It is also good damage. Is that enough? Nope! Oh, Groudon, you're gross. That is enough to put us in Citrus on the Umbreon, though. Okay. Just crit. Just crit, you land whale thing. Make them sad. That's not a crit, you're a disappointment. They naturally connect. Groudon does go down. But now they're going to be at -2. So I think this is actually safe for me to get a Fake Out plus Moonlight this turn. I just need to keep Umbreon as healthy as possible, because it's our end game here. Okay, no Protect, probably AV then. And they are faster than us, that's important to note. We still have our Shuka Berry, right? We do. So I think Flare Blitz, Baby Doll Eyes. This will be a -3 Baby Doll Eyes with Shuka Berry. As long as they don't crit Ensign, I think we're fine. No crit one time. Ensign, you're insane. Thank you for your service, my dude. Alright, no crit one last time. Can you just, like, miss for good luck? You have Heavy Slam. That's unfortunate. I mean, it doesn't really do a lot. To be fair, we also did not do a lot. Okay, light screen is up. I'm gonna Moonlight this turn, because this is gonna put us under half. You have Stone Edge and you've waited this long to reveal it? Well, that's scary. Really glad I Moonlighted so I can go back to full. Is this enough? My heart. Oh yeah, light screen wore out, so we were fine to KO there with Snarl. Oh, that was a slog. All these matches have been really, really close. I would love to check. I'm pretty sure this is just standard Rinya Sun. Which, like, we have a lot of similarities with on our team. With, you know, this Gastro, the Shuka Ensign, AV Dawn. Yeah, I actually didn't realize how close to, like, this Rinya Sun team we actually were. Really cool. Zacian plus Ho-Oh. Really cool duo here. Backed up by Gastro, Ditto, Raichu, and Ensign. So first thing first, I think Ensign is very, very good here, being able to intimidate both of their restricteds. Potentially Raichu, depending on how it's built. Most likely, you know, it has access to, like, Fake Out, possibly Nuzzle. Their Ensign, just a lot to really like about it. Ditto copying Lunala could be problematic, especially if they are Choice Scarf. That is something to be weary of. Because they also know I have access to Wide Guard, but Wide Guard's not very good here, so... And this is kind of another one of those matchups where I wish I had access to Trick Room. I think I like Groudon plus Charizard up front, with Lunala and Ensign in the back. I could see leading Ensign and swapping to Groudon. I actually like that. Like, just getting an Intimidate off into whatever they lead, I think, can be very impactful. And, like, if this Ditto does come out, we're able to potentially just outpace it with whatever we have. There's going to be Ho-Oh Ensign on their side for the lead. So this is actually pretty okay. Obviously, we're going to get this Intimidate off into both of their Pokemon. Their Ensign is also faster than ours. That's important to note for this potential end game. And I think I like the play of just swapping out the Ensign into Groudon here and just going for a max Rockfall into Ho-Oh. This is really bad if we don't KO And we get the... I could just go for Ensign here. Just trying to KO Ensign, I think, could be good, but that's really bad if they go for Airstream. This is a 4-time super effective attack, powered up by solar power. I think this is pretty likely to do a ton of damage. Okay, they're just going to swap out Ho-Oh into Zacian. Okay. All things considered, pretty okay play. If this is Parting Shot into Charizard, I'm going to feel pretty meh. But we're fine. So, like, we obviously have Sun up currently, but into turn it's going to go away. So we could stay in with Groudon and just fire off of Precipice Blades. But that's actually pretty bad if they swap back into Ho-Oh. They could also, like, if they go for Parting Shot here, and they do just go for Fake Out, that's good. That's really good for us. So we get the Solar Power boost here, but we're not going to take Solar Power damage, which is actually really important. And we reveal Rockfall, so now Ho-Oh has to be scared of Charizard. So now I feel pretty safe just going for an Airstream into the Ensign slot, and I want to swap Groudon back into Ensign to get the Intimidate off into Zacian here. I can see, obviously they're not doing so, but I could have seen a Zacian switch anticipating the Wildfire into that slot and going back into Ho-Oh there as well. But they are just going to stay in. They're going to go for a Behemoth Blade. This is now neutral, and they're going into Ensign, so honestly still quite a bit of damage. But we're going to get that Airstream boost. So now our Ensign is going to be faster than theirs. Question is, what is their play this turn? There's Citrus Berry. Good to know. No Shuka. We know they're not Safety Goggles because they took damage last turn. They're just going to get that Parting Shot off. That's fine. So I think this turn, because it is the last turn of our Dynamax, we do want to have that extra chip damage from Wildfire. So there's a non-zero chance that that's just what we go for here. So they could swap Ho-Oh back into Ensign. But I think if anything's going to swap, it's going to be Zacian. So honestly, I could make the same play on turn 1 and just go for Rockfall into Ho-Oh and swap Ensign into... I also think Ho-Oh could just Max Guard here. I like this play. I do think I just want to manually swap out into Groudon here. I get to see Zacian swapping. They do. Presumably into Ensign. No, it's into Ditto. Okay. Well, they're going to copy my Ensign. So as of now, the only thing that's actually going to take Wildfire damage is actually their Zacian. But, I mean, this is still... granted, we're going to be at -1. But this is going to do a non-zero amount into the Ensign here. And they do go for the Dynamax. Question is it Max Guard, or are they going to go for an Airstream to try to match my Charizards? Let's see what our opponent's going for here. We do connect the Wildfire. And we casually just do 50% to an Incineroar. They actually do have Ancient Power of their own here as well. No, it's off of Rock Slide. It's going to be off of Rock Slide, I'm assuming. We do hold on. There's actually a non-zero chance we held on from that anyway. That's a neutral hit. That's kind of absurd. So now this should be probably fake out into my Groudon. But I think I want to preserve my Zard. I am faster. I could just Ancient Power the Ditto. I actually like that, because they're most likely Choice Scarf. I could double into the Ho-Oh. I could also see Ditto swapping out and going back into Ensign. It's like double rock type move into that slot's interesting. I'm just gonna try to crit the Ho-Oh, I think. Let's take this Ditto out. If Charizard's able to do it on its own, that's fine. They actually do stay in, so presumably this is like a parting shot then. It is. And it is into the Groudon, so we really need the crit now because we're going to be at -2. Because they're going to swap into Ensign here. Man, did we get that AP boost there? We were really, really well off too. They do get the Airstream into Charizard, which is enough to take it out. So now we can get a free swap into our Ensign here. I would really like to crit this Stone Edge. You know, or we could just miss. That's also fine. Man, the fact that I can't Will-O-Wisp anything is really awkward. I'm going to actually bring out Lunala here. They can't fake this out, but I can go for a Meteor Beam into Ho-Oh. And a +1 Meteor Beam is going to do a chunk. And then here I'm going to go into Ensign to reduce the damage that their Ho-Oh is able to do to my Lunala if they decide to go into that slot. Get this Intimidate off here. They just go for a fake out. That's also fine. Max Flare presumably into Lunala, but we should take that, especially behind Shadow Shield and them at -1. They're going to set Sun again, but that's kind of whatever. Okay. Absorb the rocks. Get that +1. Smash! Oh my lord. I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. That was awesome. Yeah, Ditto's obviously going to come in and copy me. But that's fine. This is the last turn of Wildfire. So unfortunately Wildfire did literally nothing this game. So for the sake of this, I'm actually going to go into Groudon here because Groudon's going to be able to take the Moongeist Beam. And we can go for a Darkest Lariat into Ditto here. Darkest Lariat's going to be enough to take them out. They're not able to Meteor Beam my Ensign, so we're safe there. Oh yeah, Groudon takes that like a champ. Presumably this is a double up into the Groudon, and that's fine. Groudon actually holds on. We do get burnt, but that's kind of okay in all actuality. Darkest Lariat is going to be enough to KO here. But this is actually kind of okay because this lets me sack off Ensign. I mean, this lets me sack off Groudon next turn to get a free swap back into Ensign. Because I can withdraw the Ensign this turn into Lunala. Presumably, I would really like to see a Sacred Sword into that slot, but I also think it's like pretty likely. I mean, I'm just gonna click Precipice Blades here. And I think swapping to Lunala here is fine. If they go for if they go for Behemoth Blade plus like Darkest Lariat into my Lunala slot, then I think we can lose. Because then I lose Groudon into turn. Okay, made the read. Is this into Groudon? This looks like it's into Groudon. Okay. Like, they know my moveset. I haven't revealed Fake Out on my Ensign yet. Oh, I think they protect their Zacian this turn. So we can go for Fake Out into Ensign. And Moongeist Beam just to do some chip. Because, like, obviously Meteor Beam's not KOing it. We have to take a turn to hit first. And I don't live a Behemoth Blade plus a Darkest Lariat here. So yeah, this has to be Moongeist Beam, I think. Oh, they're just attacking with Zacian. I was not ready for that play. That's actually really, really well played. I need this to KO, but I don't think it does. I think they're at too high of HP here. Yep, I think that's GG. Man, this game was really, really close, I think. I feel like we were in this game for quite a while. We can go for the Will-O-Wisp into Zacian. I'm just really surprised to not see the Protect come out from it. Their Zacian, their Ensign is also faster than my Lunala. That's absurd. How fast is my Lunala? Man, that match was really fun. That was a really, really close match in all actuality. So what could we have done differently? I think reading the swap on turn 1 into Zacian is pretty obvious from their end. So had I just gone for the target into Ensign and KO'd it, then Charizard doesn't get parting shotted. I don't have to worry about like intimidating my Groudon. We don't get burnt in that end game. I think that's probably the plays. We just go for Rockfall into Ensign on turn 1 instead. Or we make the prediction that they make the swap and go for Wildfire into that slot. Either play I think could have been game winning because we take out one of their end game threats there. And like I wasn't really concerned about the Ditto ever. Like, obviously, it got the boost off of my Meteor Beam, but past that, I wasn't really concerned about it. And presumably, they were Choice Scarf, and they know I don't have Protect. Really, really close game, I think. So, what did we learn today about Lunala Dawn? Unfortunately, we never played against Kyogre, so we weren't ever able to, like, truly test how good Gastrodon was. In fact, I think in the matches I've played, I ran into exactly one water type, and that was an opposing Gastrodon. So like, obviously, I can't really comment on it. It is weird to see Umbreon and Gastro, and neither of them have access to Yawn. But honestly, I think that's fine. The first matchup where we played against Dialga, and like I was talking about setting Trick Room, only to come out that Lunala does not have Trick Room is obviously like a big deal. I think when people see Lunala Dawn, they anticipate Trick Room on the Lunala. So having that like inherent advantage of like fake information can be very useful, but in reality, I'm not sure like how useful it actually is. I think there's an argument to drop one of these status moves to gain access to to Trick Room, just so that like you are able to more easily like abuse opposing speed control. Like we ran into multiple flying types. Every match actually had a flying type in some capacity, and 2 of the 3 matches that I played, the flying type was the Dynamax target. And I think there's an argument for, even in that third one, in the matchup with Dialga plus Thundurus as their lead, I think there's an argument that you could make 2 Max the Thundurus there on turn 1 as well. Like, the inherent ability to abuse your opponent's form of speed control with Trick Room, I think, is very useful, especially on a team like this that is very bulky and wants to be able to like play these long grindy games. Having access to Trick Room, I think, is something that could be very useful. Solar Power Charizard, absolutely insane. Expected nothing less from it. It deals a ton of damage, and that's really all we needed to do. Ensign was good. I don't. It wasn't until that last match where we played against the Rinya Sun team that I realized how similar to them we are. With like this AV Groudon set, the Shardy Berry Charizard, Ensign, Gastro. Like, obviously our last support Pokemon being Umbreon versus Grimmsnarl. Like, there's the argument that they are very similar in reality, but Umbreon has access to recovery, whereas the Grimmsnarl is like they have Thunder Wave on their team, so it's another form of speed control. Which, like, you could still have that like statusing effect if you want to drop like Moonlight and or Foul Play for Yawn. And I think if you were to do one, I would probably prefer you drop Foul Play here, because I think Baby Doll Eyes, especially paired with Ensign, is a lot of utility to lower their attacks, where it's doing that Reflect-esque thing. Snarl was obviously very good into the opposing Charizard that we ran into. I think it's a very good utility move, especially in this format on such a bulky Pokemon. There's a lot I really like about this team, and not a lot I can say this is bad. In fact, I don't really have any negative comments to say. The only thing I would suggest is slapping Trick Room on Lunala. And like, the fact that we have Will-O-Wisp could be very useful. I don't want to take that away from it. But I think just for like consistency's sake, I would rather have Trick Room in that slot instead. I think there's an argument to drop Wide Guard as well, but it lines up so well into like opposing Groudon and Kyogre. And like, of course, Shadow Rider as well, and Ice Rider. I don't know. I think Wide Guard has a lot of utility against a lot of the restricteds in this format. So I guess it needs to be Will-O-Wisp before dropping anything. Could also drop Meteor Beam and then slap some other item on Lunala. Could swap up, like, put lefties on it and find, like, something else for Gastro to hold, which is, like, something I hadn't really considered. Could also just be, like, Life Orb on Lunala and drop Meteor Beam for something else. Yeah, there's a lot I really like about this team, and I would really suggest it if you're looking for fake Rinya Sun. This is definitely a team I would recommend. The Lunala is very good. I love a lot about this team, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something fun to play. So that is going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next week with some more Littleroot Laddering. Have a good one. Peace.